Hello, hello, everyone,
Hi
and
there, good
welcome.
morning.
Good morning. It is 9 a.m., and we are happy to be here with you in this lovely Mayas
Absolutely.
webinar, coming to you live and in person from Bologna, Italy.
Exactly.
It's a
We hope
nice
you,
day.
yeah. Is it? I haven't looked
Well,
outside yet.
it's a nice day in that we're here, we're alive, we're happy and healthy, we are safe,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, so
We have the means to communicate with each other, and also we have our tea. We hope you've
exactly.
got your tea as well, or your coffee, whatever your preference is.
I have my
Um,
gigantic cup of tea because I love
and
tea.
your and your mug is actually relevant to our
Wow, that's
focus today.
amazing.
Did you? That's incredible
I
because
did
today
not do that intentionally.
we are talking about optimism and we're talking about positive thinking. And yeah, Monique is just ready, just came
That's really
prepared.
cool.
And
Yeah, I
you were
like
saying, "Oh, I don't have any props."
you're right. That's amazing. That is really incredible. So
Uh,
indeed, props I have without even trying.
yeah,
So yes, we remind anyone coming in that feel free to write at any time. We love your participation here. So
exactly. Tell
um,
us your names, where you're from, where you're watching us from. Tell us what you are drinking this morning. I am
exactly.
drinking my classic English breakfast tea with some milk, something
What
to wake
type
me
of
up.
tea?
It's just English breakfast tea, so it will be a mixture of maybe Ceylon tea or Assam tea. These are the ones that they use for English breakfast tea.
Oh,
So it's
interesting.
black tea, and I put in some milk as well because I am British, and I'm drinking it in my favorite mug, which has a zebra on it.
Oh, I
But
love
when
zebras.
you fill it up with hot tea, it turns into a unicorn.
Let's see. Can you put it up close?
Yeah, it's a zebra now because it's a
Bring it
bit
even
cold.
closer.
There it is.
That's so
Yeah.
lovely.
But when it's hot, it's a unicorn.
That's so cool. I have a t-shirt like that. My mom gifted it
So,
to me. It's like it
oh,
changes
amazing.
color when you put it on. But bring
When
it
you put
in.
it on,
Yeah,
okay,
when it's warm, similar to your cup, right? When it's warm, it changes color and it
that's
says
so
Tiki
cool.
Bar. But once we're back and at school and whatnot, I'd love to see that cup. Bring it
All
in
right, I'll bring it in
if you don't mind.
sometime. Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny you say zebra because I say zebra,
yeah, it's
but
another one of those
it's another one of them.
American and British differences.
Yeah, but it's one of my favorite animals.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
So we have a question for you here at the bottom. In fact, I remember when we did our party focus, you saying that you would be a zebra or a
Exactly.
zebra.
Exactly. Or both, a zebra and a
Yeah.
zebra. I wonder if anyone else
Um,
says it differently.
yeah. So yeah, we have a question for you because we are talking about positive thinking and optimism today.
Exactly.
So
Optimism.
tell us, do you try to live in the present and do you tend to overthink? So Monique, what do you say to these
Well,
questions?
I wanted to note that I added that last phrase there, inquiring
Great
minds want to
mind.
know. Are
I
you
really like
familiar with
that.
that? Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was,
absolutely.
I don't remember, there's some news source or something that commonly says that inquiring minds.
Yeah,
Maybe it's like not the National Enquirer, but something like that, where
yeah,
they're like,
something
yeah. Well, let's make sure it's clear. Do you tend to overthink? So to tend is to have a tendency to. So maybe I tend
exactly.
to drink herbal tea all day long,
Yeah,
or
so it's like saying something that you have a habit of doing, something that you do regularly. Okay,
mhm.
tend to, it's a phrasal verb. And we
Yeah.
know it's 9 a.m., but we will do some phrasal verbs in this
Yes,
webinar.
indeed we will. So it's a nice question, Sophia. Thank you for asking. Do you try to live in the present? I absolutely do try to live in the present. I notice that I'm often overthinking. They are really connected. I
Mm.
often think a lot about things to do, people to contact, especially in this period where I'm thinking a lot about loved ones or friends that are in other
Yeah,
places. For
absolutely.
example, my friend Carolyn in New Jersey. I haven't talked
Mm.
to her in a while, but she's a very close friend, and I keep meaning to contact her, but I don't want to contact her until I have enough time to have a proper conversation, right?
Okay, yeah, you
So
don't want to
then
just message her on the fly.
yeah, so then am I living in the present? Kind of not, right? I'm sort of like, oh, it'd be great to talk to her. So I have a lot of that kind of running through my mind, which causes me to live less in the present. However, I've been trying to do yoga every day, which is really lovely for living in the present. You know, it's a very like grounding thing, I find.
Yeah.
I've been doing this total body every day, which is fun. And there's no space or time. It's really hard for me because it's a lot of like abs and a lot of push-ups and things. So there's no space for me to not be in the present. And I really like that. It's really good for me at this time. And
sorry to interrupt you. Do you invent your routines, or do you have a video that you like to watch?
No, there's a guy who is based in Bologna who does these 7 p.m. Instagram feeds. And I guess the Instagram feed can last 1 hour. So now I'm actually getting used to kind of his routine and what he does, you know? And so he's really creative though. He'll use like bottles for pesi, like for weights. So you're like lifting bottles up, or he has us get a pot from the kitchen, and then you're lifting the pot.
So it's like yoga for people who really are not. Just
for people who
using
are common, basically.
Who using common household items, and also so it's every day at 7. So you know that at 7 p.m. you have your yoga lesson.
Except yesterday because we had our staff meeting.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It was worth it. But and what about you, Sophia? Do you try to live in the present, and do you tend to overthink?
I definitely try to live in the present, but I very often find myself living in the future, thinking about what's going to happen. And very often I also find myself living in the past, which is, in my opinion, worse. Remembering past times, thinking about what has happened to you. And this, I think, holds us back very often. I definitely overthink things. But what is interesting is that these last 2 weeks, ever since I have been at home, everything has changed because everything has changed because every day I wake up and all I think about is these 16 hours that I will be awake. All I think about is today. So it's incredible. Ever since I've started staying at home, I'm absolutely living in the present, and I'm not overthinking because I just do the next thing that I have to do. And I'm not worrying about tomorrow or next week or things that are coming in the future. I'm looking every day at only today.
That's wise.
So incredibly, this, staying at home is having a very positive impact on me because I really am living in the moment, which is really lovely.
Have you created some sort of routine for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's nice to do the next thing that you need to do without thinking 2 steps ahead, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so absolutely. Definitely, this is something I hope that I will continue to do also when we go back to normality, you know? Just
not worrying about the future.
Absolutely, yeah.
It makes sense, right? I mean, I put here to overthink is to think too much about something or some things, right?
Yeah, to worry essentially about something, to be preoccupied.
Yeah, and worrying, there's not really any benefit to worrying. There is a benefit of being aware, right? Awareness.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Worrying really doesn't help us in any which way. Nor does anxiety really, or being preoccupied about something. It occupies our minds for things that are not the present, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's energy that you can spend in a much better way. But anyway, if you are joining us now, tell us about yourself. Tell us, do you try to live in the present? Do you tend to overthink? Maybe like me and Monique have, you can tell us about how staying at home maybe has had a positive impact, maybe a negative impact on the way you think.
Yeah, good
point. Shall we look
at
our focus?
Perhaps before going into our focus, let's take a look at this one quote.
Oh yeah, let's look at the quote.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Alrighty. So, voila. Can you read it, Sophia?
Of course. So we have, age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
Yes. What do you think about the quote?
I really like it. I think it's very humorous. It's got a sense of humor. And yeah, it's just I like also the way they play on words. What do you think of
Mhm.
it?
Yeah, I love it.
Monique?
I think it's delightful, and I would say I have a good, like a good role model in this because my
Mm,
mom, who is 78, is incredible. She is so young at heart, right? Here, I'll put that in the comments. To be young
yeah.
at heart, to be young at heart. She has such a good approach and outlook to life and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's very inspiring to me because
Mm,
it also gives me that sense, not only from her, but it's kind of something I've always seen in my mom because she also is 12 years older than my dad. They're divorced, but
mm,
still, like, even though she's older, she has this approach that's very much like um optimistic, positive, like,
yeah.
and so I think, yeah, she's young at heart, and I really, really, really like this quote: age is an
Yeah.
issue of mind over matter. If you don't
Mm,
mind, it doesn't
it doesn't
matter.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think something that characterizes getting old is kind of feeling that the world is old as well, like feeling that you can't learn new things, you can't experience new things, feeling that everything is the same and the same.
Hmm.
And feel like the older people I know who are young at heart are the people who look at the world around them and still get excited, still get enthusiastic about it, still feel that they can learn something new, experience new things as well. I
Exactly.
think
And there's
that's what
always,
separates growing up but getting old from staying young at heart.
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's always new things to learn. For example, I learned that when you have rosemary and you want to keep the rosemary, it's not a good idea to put it in water. My friend has a big, huge rosemary bush at home and brought me recently like two
Oh, like
huge kind
sprigs
of,
of rosemary. Yeah.
yeah, but tons of rosemary. And I
Yeah.
thought, oh, this is great. I'm going to make like roast potatoes and quiche and whatever. And so what I did is I put it in like a huge vase of water.
Yeah,
And
no,
then
you're not supposed to.
I know,
You're
I
supposed to keep it in the dark in a dry place.
exactly. So I learned kind of the hard way, but I'm young at heart. I'm happy.
You're
Like
learning, you know.
yeah, learning, always
You're
learning new
learning from your
things. So.
mistakes. You're like a toddler. You know, you put something in your mouth, you think, oh, no, that's not good. That's how
Exactly.
you
I'm like
learn.
a toddler, and or you could also say I'm Aries because that's a very common characteristic of an Aries is to kind
Yeah,
of
I
like
am
go,
as well. I absolutely.
yeah.
When is your birthday?
Oh, mine's on the 18th of April. When is
Oh,
yours?
April. Ah, okay. Mine is tomorrow.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
delightful. So you're
So
an early Aries. Are you on the cusp?
no, I'm 1 week in. So
Oh,
I'm
you're 1 week in.
a pretty standard one. So you another birthday we have to celebrate when
No,
we go back to
exactly.
work.
We're making a collection of them. So I
Yeah.
can click here. We are Aries. Yahoo.
Yeah.
If you are watching, let us know what your sign is as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what's interesting also about this quote is that it shows first, as we were speaking before, right? First, we have nouns. Age is an issue of mind, which is the physical mind,
Yeah,
over
exactly.
matter, which is anything is matter,
Material, like it's matter. So
material.
things are matter.
Yeah, and then it pops into verbs. If you don't mind, meaning if it's not an issue to you,
It's not
then
important to you. It's
it's
not a problem.
then it doesn't
Then
matter. It's of no significance, right? I guess
exactly.
mind and matter are very similar verbs, huh?
Yeah. But so the in the first sentence, mind over matter, it's actually an idiomatic phrase in English. If we want to say don't think about it, we can say mind over matter. So your mind
Right.
is stronger than what is around you. You cannot think about it if you want to, if you really concentrate.
Yeah.
Iole's here. Hi, Iole. I
Hi,
haven't seen you
Ole.
at
Nice to have you. Welcome.
yeah,
You're late.
welcome.
No
Thank you
problem.
very thank you very much for joining us. We hope
Yeah,
you're well. We haven't seen you in a while. It's good
it's
to have you
true.
here.
Yeah. So
Um,
we were asking, do you try to live in the present and do you tend to overthink? So
hmm,
let's go out of this screen, go into our focus for the day, for the morning.
exactly.
Ta-da.
So our focus is
Sun.
called if it
All
comes
right.
up. Here it is. On
All
second thought. Sorry,
with
I
a
said
little bit
it.
of. Okay, on second thought. So, what does it mean on second thought?
I would use on second thought when I change my mind. Okay, so for example, I might say, I was going to say go out for a walk, but we can't do that anyway. So I might say, I'm going to watch a film. No, on second thought, I'm going to read a book. So I change my mind.
Yeah, like I'm going to make some mint tea. No, on second thought, I'll make some herbal tea. Yeah,
Exactly.
no, actually, mint tea is herbal tea, but I'll make some
It is
lavender
technically,
tea.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll make some lavender tea. All right, so let's dive into this lovely
Yeah.
focus here. So, what are
Do you want
our
to-
objectives?
Our objectives today, we'll do some thinking vocabulary. We will look at some phrasal verbs using the word think, and we will look at some idioms in English with mind and brain.
Oh, yes. And what
We've
might
got
she be
lots of stuff to
thinking?
do.
What might she be thinking?
Maybe she's thinking about, well, look, she's wearing a hat with a vest top. So she might be thinking about how her body temperature is because, like, I don't understand. Your head is cold, but your shoulders are hot. So, like, what's the
Right, that's
what's the
true. It
deal
could be
here?
also a fashion thing.
Yeah, I think she's thinking about what she looks like. Like
Maybe
thinking
she's
about,
thinking, how do you say herbal tea in French? I don't know.
yeah,
She could be also
maybe.
wondering, how do you say herbal tea in Italian? Mystery. All right.
I think I know. But anyway, so we're going to
Go
do,
ahead, you can share.
isn't it tisana in Italian?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Would you ever say tisane in English? I don't think so. I think in French
No,
it's
no, no,
tisane.
no. Is
Yeah.
it? No, I was terrible at French. No.
Okay.
So don't worry, be happy. I'm sure you all know this expression, or to use the word that we learned this morning, don't overthink.
Yeah,
Live in the
don't
present.
overthink. Exactly. Or the song too.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Be happy. Ba-da-da-da-da. Bobby McFerrin, an amazing song.
Yeah.
Don't overthink. All right.
So we've got the words on the right. We have focus, imagination, optimism, mental, perspective, notion, and concentrate. And we will try to put these into the gaps that we can see in the text.
Yeah.
I think these words are okay, except maybe notion. Should we explain notion?
Sure. So notion is like, I would say it's like a gut instinct, a feeling.
Exactly. It's a feeling, a thought, but it's something much more instinctive, I think.
You have a notion to do something. I have a notion. It's almost like your inside voice. Like
Yeah.
your inside voice says, you should really take a shower. It's like, oh, I have a notion to take a shower. Or I don't know, to call your mom. I have a notion.
Do you have a notion to take a shower, Monique?
Actually, I took one this morning. And you?
Oh, well done. No.
Okay, you're showering less.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, no worries, no worries. It's all good. We're optimists. Okay, Yole, awareness. Yes, okay. Notion would be, well, not so much awareness, but awareness is a very good thing. Yes, no question.
A thought or a feeling for notion. So let's read through our paragraph and our students can fill in the gaps with the word they think is correct. Okay, are you ready with your harmonica?
I am indeed.
Okay, so shall I read and you do the gaps?
Perfect.
Okay, so the practice of positive thinking is gaining popularity around the world. Positive thinking is a attitude that is based on that if you on the things you want in life using positive thoughts, then you will receive those things more easily. For example, if you desire to be rich, you must on the money that you already have and visualize more money coming to you with your. It's always a surprise every time.
It is.
So, or if you want to find love, you must change that love is hard to find and use an attitude that love is everywhere. Therefore, the belief that is that the more you use to think about your life, the more positive situations and outcomes you will attract.
Indeed, like the law of attraction, no? Yeah.
Exactly.
So what we would like you to do is guess which of these vocabulary words goes in which of these spots, imagining
Exactly.
starting from the very beginning. So maybe we can discuss it as people are guessing and whatnot. So
We could
go ahead.
also do some vocabulary. We have here gaining popularity. We often use these words together, popularity and gain. What else can we gain? We can gain respect.
Weight. We can gain respect. We can gain weight. Probably.
Oh,
Well,
God,
not
yeah.
probably, but being at home and having nice access to the kitchen constantly could be a potential reason why we would gain weight. Not necessarily,
Absolutely.
but it's possible. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning.
Good morning. We are having a
You
lovely
arrived.
topic about
Yeah.
optimism.
You arrived again just as we were talking about gaining weight. So
That is quite funny. Yeah, we're talking about what you can gain as we
Yeah.
do this lovely gap fill here. We hope you're having a
Interesting.
nice morning.
Exactly. We hope you're still in pajamas.
Yes, exactly. I actually am
we-
not in pajamas right now.
No, me
Strangely.
neither. I got into my tracksuit.
Yeah, I put my jeans on.
Oh, you put jeans on.
Yeah, because I might have a big day today. I might actually go down and throw out the trash. I'm not sure though, but I'm considering
And
it.
you put on your jeans so that you could go and throw out the rubbish?
Just to change it up, you know. Can't always wear my penguin pajamas, although they are very comfortable. So
I don't think I've worn jeans in a long time.
really,
It's going to be very strange to get. Do you know what? It's going to be very strange to put jeans back on.
in general, even to remember to get your keys and your bike lock and like moving from more than one place.
We're just
From
becoming
more than
slobs,
just a
aren't we?
room to a room. What's that?
Yeah. We're becoming a slobs.
Right, exactly.
He
Mental
only has
attitude.
the first one. Very nice.
Okay, awesome, Yole. So let me get my harmonica here. So positive thinking is a mental attitude. Lovely.
Very nice.
Good job, Yole. So based on what though? It's a mental attitude based on the
So yeah, we said our verb is to gain. What is a synonym? Maybe to get, to.
I mean, sort of. It's not exactly a synonym, but to increase the something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So to gain. All I can think of is gain weight. To gain. To gain courage, maybe to do something like I think of.
But it's not usually a thing. Like it's more of a concept. Iole says on the optimism. Not quite. I would say Iole more based on the idea. Let's say. Can you find a synonym maybe for idea in this list?
Yeah. Positive thinking is a mental attitude that is based on the.
Oh, Lisa has another one. Gain access.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah, to gain access to something.
So it's like to get or to increase, but not talking about physical things. Talking
right.
about
It could. Yeah, to obtain. Also to obtain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can you obtain? You can. Well, but you wouldn't gain a degree, no, because that's again a noun. You would.
You gain happiness.
Maybe you gain
happiness.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's a nice one, though. You gain access. Good. You trust. Okay.
Trust. Yeah, absolutely. You gain trust. That's a very good example. You absolutely gain trust. Yeah, so it's obtained, but for concepts rather than things. Gain speed also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good examples.
To gain respect. One thing it's nice is to gain respect of your peers, right? For example. Here are some different options with gain, to gain. So it's to increase, right? To increase, to obtain. So here it says, well, to gain popularity, right? As in the first sentence, the practice of positive thinking is gaining popularity. Do you agree, Sophia?
I imagine, yeah, it is like this kind of this idea of showing always a happy attitude is quite popular today. I'm not sure if I completely agree with it, but I think that's something that we will discuss on the next slide.
Yeah, it's a nice idea. I think though there is more of a attention to mindfulness, like to meditation, I'm from Los Angeles, so I worked in a metaphysical shop for 6 months. So that's very much something that I appreciate, is having a positive outlook and to being mindful, right? And to try to have positive thinking, because it really does make a difference for how we live, right? I mean, if it's like the glass of water, that if you send it positive energies and give it positive statements and encouragements and speak to the water, then the molecules change one way. Or if you're negative to the water, then it changes a different way. It's like, yeah. So what do we think this next gap could be? Positive thinking is a mental attitude.
Yeah, that is based on maybe we should help out.
Okay. So on the 3, 2, 1.
Notion. So like an idea that here we could have two options. I think we have two synonyms. It could be if you focus or if you concentrate, which are synonyms both as noun and as verbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So positive thinking is a mental attitude that it's based on the notion that if you on the things you want in life using positive thoughts, then you will receive those things more easily.
Yeah. So I think probably concentrate here, or focus.
Concentrate or focus. Yeah. Shall we reveal it? Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Voila.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And then we've got the next part. If you desire to be rich, you must. We need another verb here.
Yeah.
So I imagine.
Yeah, because we only have one verb in this group.
Exactly. So I imagine that this must be focus on.
Let us see. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Indeed. I don't know if I agree with that, though. The idea that if you just focus on the money, it shows up. It's like
I think this idea that your thoughts can influence reality.
I mean, we still have to work, or maybe, it's like, just focus on it. Yeah, good, Yole. Excellent. Focus. Yeah.
Very nice.
Fantastic.
So that you already have, and visualize more money coming to you with your, what do we use to visualize or to fantasize about things?
Good question. We use the internet. Just kidding. So what might it be? Is it imagination, optimism, or perspective? Shall we reveal it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, 3, 2.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you very much. With your imagination. So I'll just read that again. For example, if you desire to be rich, you must focus on the money that you already have and visualize more money coming to you with your imagination. Meaning before you go to sleep, you go, I don't have €5 in my wallet. I have 5,000 euros in my wallet. And you visualize, right?
And then you wake up in the morning and there are still €5 in your wallet.
Yes. Often like that, but not always. But okay, what about the next one? Or if you want to find love, you must change your
You must change your that love is hard to find.
Perspective. Let's
see. I think Yole has it.
3, 2. Ta-da.
Very nice.
Yeah, good. That love is hard to find, and use an attitude that love is everywhere. Therefore, the belief is that the more you use yours, so the last one left, the more you use optimism to think about your life, the more positive situations and outcomes you will attract. Okay.
Yeah. Can you take away? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So, very, very friendly, no?
Shall we look at some questions to discuss this? Because I think we have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely, as do I. Alrighty.
So, do you think that changing your perspective from positive to negative can have an effect on people's lives? Why or why not?
Yeah,
What do
let's
you
read through all three, and as people think about their responses and can write at any time, any questions about the vocab or thoughts on these answers. Number two says, in what ways would you have to change your mental attitude to get what you want in life, according to positive thinking? What would you focus or concentrate on?
Exactly. And three, is the notion of positive thinking dangerous in any way? Are there any consequences to people believing that optimism can change their lives?
Right. And remember, notion is like an idea, an inkling.
Exactly. A
Is the
thought.
notion of positive thinking a thought dangerous in any way?
So, yeah, what do you think, Monique? How do you think that changing your perspective can have an effect?
Well, I think, you know, whatever we do has an effect on people around us, as does our approach to life, to whether if we can be negative or positive. So it not only has an effect on ourselves, but it also certainly has an effect on people around us, even in quarantine, because if we're speaking and I have a negative vibe or outlook, then that's going to inevitably kind of
Going to
have
be
an effect,
transferred.
right?
Yeah.
So I definitely agree. What about you?
No, absolutely. I believe very much in like cycles of energy. So let's say if on my way to work, I stop at the shop and I buy, I don't know, I buy something and I say to the shop assistant, good morning, and I smile at them, then this person will say good morning and smile to the next person they see, and that person will smile at the next person. You kind of create
Yeah,
this chain of positivity that yeah, really has a small effect on people's lives. But if you think about the power of negative energy, like if I shout at someone, they carry this negativity and they take it out on the next person.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
the same thing with positive as well. In fact, I read an article the other day that was saying about one of the effects of being in your house all the time is that we don't have these tiny everyday contacts with people that we think are insignificant, but are actually very important, like a shop assistant smiling at you, and which
Mm,
subconsciously makes your day better. But
that's
because we
interesting.
have that, we are more prone to maybe depression or feelings of isolation. But because we don't have those small contacts every day.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird not to have all context, right? Like, okay. Let's see what Iole is saying. She says this change could be based on the negation of real difficulties.
Mm.
Oh, interesting. And then she continues by saying, changing in this direction could mean avoiding these difficulties.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, Iola is talking about kind of this inauthentic positivity, this idea that you can just smile, and by smiling, you can cover all of the problems that you or someone else are having. And
Mhm.
yeah, I agree with Iola. Sometimes I think this is the third question. It could be dangerous because sometimes you do need to take away this positive attitude and say, yeah, actually, I'm not okay. I have these problems. I'm sad
Yeah,
because of this. I'm angry because of this. We can't always be positive.
that's very interesting. Yeah.
So I think
Yes.
this idea of negation that Iole mentions.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Good noun, too. The
Negation,
negation of real
absolutely.
difficulties. I mean, I see the point, but I feel more often than not, if we can try to have a positive outlook, right? Doesn't mean I don't agree in negating difficulties. I don't think we
Mm.
need to say these don't exist. But sort of observation, I think, is a very healthy part of life,
Mm.
observing difficulties, which means not embracing difficulties nor rejecting difficulties, but sort of observing the situation we're in, You
And
know what I
accepting
mean?
them, maybe.
Yeah, accepting. So that doesn't mean to be overjoyous about bad situations, but it means to be observing, like to observe, right?
Yeah.
Not being overly optimistic, but not either being overly realistic or pessimistic, right?
Yeah. Iole adds another word as well, denying also. And
Mm,
noun is denial, so negation is denial.
yeah.
Yeah.
Denial is the noun. Noun. And to deny.
This second one, the second question is a bit it's a bit of a personal question, but what would you focus or concentrate on, Monique, if we accept the belief that by concentrating on something, you can have it in your life, what would you focus on?
Good point. Maybe more skills in the kitchen, especially now that I'm cooking a lot. Because I'm an okay cook, but I'm really anarchic. Like I just kind of improvise and things come out
Yeah.
well. But I wouldn't mind having more awareness. We were talking before about herbs, like more awareness about which fresh herbs go with which foods, right? Like in terms of also protein content, that type of stuff. Also taste, like deliciousness. What about you?
I think I would focus on maybe having good relationships, maybe especially with friends and especially my family because they're very far away from me and we don't well we don't talk very often, but when we do, like we have a good relationship, but maybe just kind of building on that
Oh,
more.
I definitely agree
Yeah,
with you. Relationships is always something that
yeah,
could be.
building good relationships.
Mhm.
Um, but what else is the notion? Are there any consequences to people believing that optimism can change their lives? Well, yeah, what you were
I
saying
know.
before, like
Hmm.
we also need to work, we also need to do things. You can't be sitting on the sofa and just thinking of money and saying, one day I will be rich. You have to
Exactly.
act to do things
But
to
I
get.
don't, yeah, no, definitely. I don't think there's negative consequences to people believing in optimism. I almost think whatever gives you hope and faith and like, whatever gives you that spice to life that makes you
Yeah.
wake up in the morning, right, is a good thing.
Mm.
Yole
I think
is, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, let's read Iola's answer. She says one would recognize own interior resources to improve daily life. Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Um,
Maybe you would say their own. One would recognize their own interior resources or internal resources to improve their daily life.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we have a lot of resources.
everything you need is inside you already. But this idea of I'm afraid that it might lead to disappointment or delusionment if somebody is always thinking positively but not acting. Then
Hmm.
maybe when the things that they want don't come, they might get disappointed. It
Yeah, I
leads to
mean, for
That's why
example,
I
I'm
say I'm
writing.
more a realist, maybe.
Oh no, I spelled it wrong. But believe in yourself, right? To believe in yourself, it's kind of connected to what Ayola is saying.
Mm,
To recognize your inner resources, right? We recognize what you have, your skills, your beauty within, the light within, your abilities, right? To celebrate that, right? In a
absolutely.
positive way. Shall we move right along? If there's any question,
Absolutely.
feel free to write in the comments. But 3, 2, 1, and all right.
Okay.
As we mentioned before, phrasal verbs. What are phrasal
Ah,
verbs?
phrasal verbs, as we're sure you remember, we've got the verb and we have one or two prepositions where the prepositions change the meaning of the original verb. Okay, sometimes the meaning is connected, usually it's not. So we have here to think of, to think out, to think over, to think through, and to think up.
Indeed, and I'll read through the
Yeah.
different definitions. So,
Uh-huh.
to prepare or plan something fully before you start doing it, to consider something carefully with all the possible consequences, to consider the possibility of doing something, to consider something carefully before deciding, and to create something using your imagination. So we see similar concepts and terms from this last
They're
slide, the
very,
last paragraph.
and they're very, very similar, but with some
Mhm.
small differences. Okay.
Yeah, so what is to think of? We want to match to think of to one of the definitions, let's say A, B, C, D, and E.
Well, let's
So
maybe give some examples, some context to help them out. Monique, what are you thinking of doing today?
I'm thinking of having lunch. No, sorry, that's a common topic. No, I'm thinking of doing some more webinars today. What are you thinking of doing today?
So I'm thinking of having a nice lunch when I finish my work, and I'm thinking of calling my mother.
Oh, very nice. Always a
Yeah,
good thing.
because she wanted to talk last night, but I was too tired. So I'm thinking of calling my mother today, and I'm thinking of reading some more of my book. Okay. So as you noticed, Monique and I thought about different options, different possibilities for our day. Okay. What about, for example,
What about,
another
yeah.
to think out? How could I say? So if
Well,
I think out, I might think out my day. So I think out my plan for the day. So I think, all right, I'll have breakfast and then I'll have a shower, I'll get dressed, and then I'm going to work for 2 hours, and then I'll stop, I'll have a break, I'll work for another 2 hours, then I'll cook lunch.
yeah, kind of like laying it out, sure.
Exactly, having a schedule.
Yole says of cooking some particular dish. Okay, so
Is
she's
that what you were
thinking of
thinking?
cooking. Very nice. Okay,
Nice.
and what is the definition of to think of from these different options? How would we
What do you
describe to think of? We can absolutely think of cooking a particular dish. Today I would like to cook radicchio and raisins in the
Oh,
frying
nice.
pan. Yeah, they're really nice together. And I've had it for a little while, so it's kind of time to cook it. But so to think of, which one of these would it be? Shall we reveal to think of?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
Or maybe we can give some more time while we look at the other
sure.
examples. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's think over. For example, I gave this example also in the same webinar before, that let's say that your boss comes to you one day and says, "Hey, you're doing a good job. Do you want to take on this new position? You'll have more responsibilities, more work hours, but you will also have an increase in your salary." And you say, "May I please think it over? Give me 1 day, give me 2 days, and I will think it over." Okay?
Yeah, I like to contemplate, to review.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I love how in the UK you say to have a think. I just think that's glorious. It is not something, no, absolutely not. In the States, no one says to have a think. I think it's a very English thing. And if anyone says it was imported, but I think it's glorious. I sometimes say it. I sometimes say it where it's clearly something that's not of my vernacular, like that's not what I would usually use, but I think it's so cool. Let me have a think. I just think it's glorious. How did it become a noun? What? I'm having some coffee. What am I having a think? It's so much fun. But yeah, to think over things is what I would say. You think over your life. You think over what's been going on. You think over the situation. You think over.
Maybe we should reveal these because we don't have much time left. So let's go through them.
Okay, so the first one, to think of, to consider the possibility of doing something.
Yeah.
To think out.
Must be there it is, to prepare or plan something fully before you start doing it. So you think out your day, you think out a project, for example.
Right, to think over, to consider something carefully before deciding. Okay.
To think through is similar, but it's exactly, Iole has it. It's similar to think over, but it's much more detailed. There's more depth to think. It's not over, it's through. So consider something carefully with all the possible consequences.
Right. Just think through. And then the last one, to think up, to create something using your imagination. So I don't know what to cook for lunch. I'll think something up. I don't know.
Exactly. If you take away Iola's comment, that way we can see it as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely.
Yeah. Or let's say to invent something. So you think up an excuse. Let's say you are late and you think up an excuse. You invent an excuse.
Yeah, good example. All right, shall we move forward now?
Yeah,
3, 2,
let's
1.
do some.
Let's see here. So the brain or the mind? What is the difference between brain and mind?
So the brain is much more physical. It's the biological organ, okay, your brain, it's material. Whereas the mind is immaterial. It's more your thoughts, your ideas, your imagination. It's everything that happens in here, but which we cannot touch or hold. Okay?
So we want to match. So we see 6 idioms, right? So what goes in which? Is it brainstorm or mindstorm? Is it state of brain or state of mind?
Exactly. So we'll go
Think
through
someone's
and
brain, think someone's mind. Yeah.
we'll go through them and try to decide, is it brain or mind that fits in the gaps? The first one, I think you all know this one. Got brainstorm.
So I like to say it's like a tempest in the brain. If you're trying to think up something, you're trying to come up with an idea or something, invent something, or understand how to approach a situation, maybe a difficult situation, you brainstorm, you go, okay, is it this, that? And I like to brainstorm also on paper, write down some different ideas.
Brainstorm is also nice to do in a group. You know, you share your different ideas. Then we have state of mind. So your state of mind is good. Iola's got it as well.
Awesome.
Maybe not your philosophy, but your feelings.
Yeah, or there's that song, A New York State of Mind, right?
Yeah, your emotional state. This one is actually a bit strange because it's not actually mind. This one is brain. You pick someone's brain.
It seems very literal, right? Like a bird going and picking.
It's a terrible image, just like taking someone's brain and just picking at it.
Yeah, but when you say it too, it really seems like that. Like Sophia, you know a lot about Greek culture and language. Can I pick your brain about it? Means like, can I be a bird and come over and like literally like eat parts of, or not eat, but peck. Yeah. Peck. So, okay. What about the next one? Take your off of something. So I thought, take your brain off of something or take your mind off of something.
So it's like saying, don't think about it.
Yeah, like just don't worry about it. It will be okay. Optimism. Shall we reveal it? Take your 3, 2, 1.
Mind off.
Take your mind off of something. Yeah. This one's bizarre and comes from like medieval torture. Take your mind off. Exactly. Take your mind off of something. This next one, think about how it's connected to like medieval torture. It was a rack that they would do like terrible things to your brain too. Oops. So
I actually don't know the origin of this one.
Yeah, it's they would actually like
torment, right?
What's that?
What is to rack? To torment, to stress.
Yeah. So you rack your brain over something, but it comes literally from them. Like, you know, torture was very popular in the Middle Ages. So they take your brain and like smush it and distort it. There were so many torture devices, right? So if you rack your brain, it's really like, you're like, yeah, exactly, Yole, right. So you're like, let me rack my brain. I can't remember.
You're really tormenting yourself to remember something.
Yeah. And the last one, make up your.
I'm sure you've used this. It means decide quickly.
Yeah. Like, come on. We gotta, like, for example, if you're ordering pizza and everyone's ordered and then I'm the last one there. And so everyone's like, come on, exactly. Make up your mind. Hello.
Exactly.
Awesome. Very nice.
Do you make up your mind easily, Monique, or are you indecisive?
What about you?
I'm generally quite a decisive person. Like with all my, I'm with my friends and we're going out to eat, I'm usually the one who looks at the menu and goes, right, I'm ready.
Wow. No, I'm sort of in between there, but all right. So we are up for time. Thank you very much for being here, for participating. It's lovely to be doing these webinars. Remember, you can also go to the Maya's SOS Facebook page. It's a group where you can continue exploring and asking questions and getting answers. It's a Facebook group. So remember that. And there will be another lovely webinar in just 10 minutes. So thank you. Be positive, be optimistic, and have a beautiful day.
Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.